Scope statement is an important project management document. It is only second to the project charter in the hierarchy of important project management documents and perhaps the stakeholder register. The rest of the project management documents ensue from the project scope statement. As a result, its accuracy and precision is paramount. An inaccurate scope statement may lead to an inaccurate project schedule, which may lead to inappropriate project work activities and consequently to an incorrect project outcome. Scope itself is a critical success factor in project management. It is only second to the stakeholder engagement factor in the order of project management critical success factors. Scope is what the project is about, which is the sum total of what the project must fulfill or deliver and what the project must do. Every project must fulfill the project requirements or deliver the project outcome. That is, every project is undertaken to deliver a specific outcome. In every project, project work or project activities are necessary and essential to the fulfillment of the project requirements or to the delivery of the project outcome. These two are the aspects of scope in projects: the delivery of the project outcome and the project work that is necessary for the delivery of the project outcome. Therefore, scope is the extent of the project. It is the extent of the project outcome and the extent of the project work. While scope is a derivative of requirements, or rather project scope is a derivative of the project requirements, it is the detailed extension of the project requirements, and it is an elaboration of the project requirements. Requirements in a project are solicited and collected from the project stakeholders. While the project stakeholder community in a project range from the project owner, the potential project outcome user or the potential project outcome beneficiary, and every other person or entity that may affect the project or that may be affected by the project, affected by the project outcome or by the project work. The requirements of the stakeholders in a project specify, among other factors, the features and the functionality of the proposed outcome. These project requirements are then documented in detail as a project scope, so that the project scope becomes the frame of reference for the project, or it becomes the point of reference for the project, or it becomes even the terms of reference for the project. That is, everything else in a project is referenced from the scope. In formal projects, the scope document or project scope statement is usually developed by the project manager. However, in some practices, it is developed by a business analyst. According to the International Institute of Business Analysis, a business analyst is a person within an organization who defines organizational needs or customer needs and recommends solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. So in some organizations, a project scope statement is developed by a business analyst. Also, in less formal settings, a project scope statement is a creation of a client or creation of a customer. Usually this is in a form of a statement of work that is not rewritten but taken at face value. Statement of work is usually part of a contract between the client and the project performing organization, or between the project commissioning organizational unit and the project management unit within the same organization. It refers to a document that describes the project outcome in detail. That is, it describes the desired product or service in precise terms. According to the PMI's PMBOK, project statement of work refers to a narrative description of products, services, or results to be delivered by a project. For internal projects, the project initiator or project sponsor provides the statement of work based on business needs or product requirements or service requirements. Whereas for external projects, the statement of work can be received from the customer or client as part of a bid document, for example, as a request for proposal or as part of a contract. Well, whether developed by the project manager or by the business analyst or by the client, for the scope statement to be admitted as a formal project document, it should be approved by the project sponsor and the project steering committee. Well, according to the PMI's PMBOK, project sponsor refers to the person or group of persons who provide resources and support for the project and is accountable for enabling success. Project sponsor, in essence, is the project owner, usually the organization top management, or the specific organization manager under whose functional unit the project domiciles, or even the client, particularly when the project is undertaken on the client side. Project scope statement refers to a formal document or a formal project management document that describes the extent of the project work and the extent of the project outcome on the basis of the statement of work or on the basis of the product specification or on the basis of the service specification or on the basis of the project scope requirements. According to the PMI's PMBOK, project scope statement refers to the description of the project scope, major deliverables, assumptions, and constraints. A formally approved project scope statement is referred to as the project scope baseline, and it is fixed. According to the PMI's PMBOK, project scope baseline refers to the approved version of the project scope statement, including the project work breakdown structure, WBS for short. We do cover the work breakdown structure in a subsequent video to this one on this Real Institute channel. A project scope baseline can only be altered or amended through a formal change request process that involves the project governance forum, such as the Change Control Board or the Project Steering Committee. According to the PMI's PMBOK, the Change Control Board, CCB for short, is a formally chartered group responsible for reviewing, evaluating, approving, deferring, or rejecting changes to the project and for recording and communicating such decisions. In most projects, this role is undertaken by the Project Governance Forum or the Project Steering Committee. Project scope statements should always contain both the project scope work and the project scope outcome. Other sections of the project scope statement include: number 1, the cover page; number 2, the table of contents; number 3, document details; number 4, purpose statement; number 5, business case; number 6, scope description; number 7, acceptance criteria; number 8, deliverables; number 9, exclusions; number 10, constraints; number 11, assumptions. This is the generic project scope statement structure, which includes some of the project scope statement structure sections as recommended by the PMI's PMBOK. Scope statement is a formal document. As a result, the formal report writing principles are applicable. The writing should be clear, concise, and consistent. The project scope statement, as it is the case for all other project management documents and artifacts, should be so clear and consistent such that if a project manager were to be replaced during the course of a project, The incoming project manager should be able to read and to understand the project documentation easily. Even though the project scope statement is primarily used by the project manager in managing the project scope, it is, however, a document that belongs to the rest of the project stakeholders. The structure of the project scope statement should be clearly demarcated into sections of a formal document or of a formal report. This may include the cover page, the table of contents, the annexes or appendices. Document version control is another important aspect of a formal project document. Especially in complex projects, the versions of documents should be easily trackable and manageable. We will use as an example a project that is undertaken to build a custom steel gate. The project is undertaken by Steelworks Manufacturing, and it is about building a custom steel gate for a customer. The scope statement, section by section, is as follows. First is the cover page section. Cover page provides document identity by providing basic information about a document. That is, stating basic information that identifies a document or a report. Cover page would normally display the organizational logo and the name of the organization. It will also specify the name of the document. In this case, it is project scope statement. Then it will also specify the name of the project. The project scope statement cover page section for our example project could be as illustrated, with the organizational logo or the name of the organization, Steelworks Manufacturing in this case. And in the cover page, the document name is also specified, the name of the document being project scope statement in this case, and the name of the project, which is custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding gate project. As you notice that the project name is descriptive, it has to be as descriptive as possible, even before delving into the nitty-gritties of scope. The project name should contain adequate details about the project and its intended outcome. Project name, if possible, should always reflect the project concept or the project objectives, or even the project requirements. The next is the table of contents section. Table of contents provides an overview of the document. It provides an overview of the document's contents. This section tabulates the rest of the document sections, including their page numbers for quick access and for quick referencing. The project scope statement table of contents section for our example project could be as illustrated, displaying or showing all the document sections together with their positions in the document as indicated by their respective page numbers. As you can see, from the project document details section located in page number Roman figure 2 in the document, all the way to the project assumptions section located in page 5 and the annexes starting from page 6. Also note that all the pages of the project scope statement have a uniform heading depicting the organization name, the project name, and the name of the document being the project scope statement in our example. Then the next section is the document details section. This is about document information concerning the subject matter, the persons and entities concerned, including the author and the audience and other role players, version details and version status. Document details that are specified in this section include the document name, the project name, the project sponsor and the project steering committee members, the project manager and the project team members. While for large and complex projects, it may only be necessary to specify only the team leads instead of specifying every project team member. Actually, this subsection can be skipped and just reference the project resources register. Also included in this document details section is the document version control and the document version approval. The project scope statement document details section for our example project could be as illustrated, with the document details clearly specified. The document name is project scope statement, and the project name is custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project. And the steering committee is led by the project sponsor Melusi Maseko, and the rest of the steering committee members being Andrei Lodevik, Petros Majola, Teresa Naidu, Kula Matlangu, and Michael Khalane. And the project team is led by the project manager Michael Khalane, with the rest of the project team members being Gertrude Kubai, Teresa Naidu, Jacob Smith, and Azui Mudau. The document version control, this document already has 2 versions. The first version is dated the 12th of the 7th, and it was authored by the project manager Michael Khalane. And its description was to create the project scope statement. The second version, which is an update of the first version, is dated the 27th of the 9th, authored by Michael Khalane, the project manager, and its description is to update the project scope statement. And the document version control approval for this document is dated the 27th of the 9th, as signed off and approved by various steering committee members, the first being the project sponsor, Melusi Maseko, and the project client being Andrei Lodevik, the rep for the steering committee being Teresa Naidu, and the project manager being Michael Khalane. Next is the purpose statement section. Purpose statement entails summarizing the objective and the use of a document. It is a brief declaration or pronouncement of what a document covers and how it is used in the course of business that it is constituted for. The project scope statement purpose statement section for our example project could be as illustrated, with the purpose statement clearly written as follows. This document, the project scope statement, in the main defines the scope of this project, custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding gate project. It is developed on the basis of the customer's statement of work and the enterprise's project business case. The defined project scope covers both the inclusions, that's in scope, and the exclusions out of scope of the project work and project outcome. The document and any of its versions is only valid if approved and signed off by the authorized project steering committee members. Likewise, it can only be changed or amended through the project change control process that is overseen by the project steering committee. Only the latest and approved version of this document serves as the project scope baseline of this project. The document is used by the project steering committee in the governance of the project. The document is mainly used by the project team for the purpose of ensuring that the project activities are aligned and only aligned to meeting the project requirement and consequently to fulfilling the project objectives. The document is accessible to all authorized project stakeholders. Next is the project business case section. Project business case entails basically the project justification. An organizational project should first be feasible and then viable. It should be doable and it should be worthwhile. However, viability in the case of projects is that organizational projects should make business sense. Business sense in that their outcome provides support or enable the organization's operations in being effective and efficient, or to be effective and efficient, which in essence should lead to the organization's profitability. Business sense could also be in that the project itself, which is the project outcome, lead to the organization's profitability. Business sense could also be in that the project is for the purpose of compliance with the legislative requirements, the bylaws, prescripts, the government regulations, the licensing conditions, the environmental considerations, etc., which ensures the continued legal operability of the organization. The project scope statement, project business case section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly stated as follows. Mr. Andre Lodewijk, a customer, has placed an order for a custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate. As this is in line with Steelworks business model, where one of the operation lines is bespoke steel products manufacturing using project's EPC approach and methodology. Therefore, the custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project is within the operational capabilities of Steelworks manufacturing, and as a result, it is feasible. The preliminary costing of the project indicates a total project budget of 71,956, including 10% profit margin to the value of 6,541, which is a billable amount to the customer, and the customer has committed to this amount. See custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project contract in the annexure. The 71,956 is made up of 59,468 project cost estimate, 5,949.80 contingency reserves, which is 10% of the project cost estimate, which makes the actual project budget to be 65,415. and 6,541 profit margin, which is 10% of the project budget. The realizable 10% profit margin is well within the Steelworks policy prescription of bespoke steel products manufacturing hurdle rate. As a result, the project is viable. Next is the project scope description. Project scope description entails what the project should do, that is the product tasks, and what the project should deliver, that is the ultimate outcome. It lists the project broader tasks in the order in which they will be completed as project milestones. It details the project outcome in terms of features, functionality or performance, and any other required standard. It also clearly and categorically states what is in scope and also what is out of scope. The project scope statement, project scope description section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly written as follows. To design, construct, transport, and install a custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate at Mr. Andre Lodewijk's residence at number 16 Elite Crescent, Prestige Estate. The measurements to be carried out on site at Mr. Andre Lodewijk's residence by Steelworks structural engineer as per the project schedule. The design to be carried out in-house still using Steelworks design facilities by Steelworks structural engineer as per the project schedule. The bill of quantities to be carried out in-house using Steelworks planning facilities by Steelworks structural engineer or quantity surveyor as per the project schedule. The purchases to be carried out with suppliers using Steelworks procurement facilities by Steelworks project manager as per the project schedule. The construction or building to be carried out in-house using Steelworks operations facilities by Steelworks cutting, welding, and finishing teams as per the project schedule. The transportation to be carried out using Steelworks transport facilities by Steelworks transport team as per the project schedule. The installation to be carried out on site at Mr. Andre Lodewijk's residence by Steelworks installation team under the supervision of the Steelworks structural engineer as per the project schedule. In scope, the main structure of the custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate will be made of pure steel with galvanized steel corners and stainless steel mesh for the interior. See the custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project design in the annexure. All the finishings will be pure copper. Also see custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project design in the annexure. Out of scope, gate automation. Next is the project acceptance criteria section. Project acceptance criteria entails what will constitute the acceptance of the project outcome and what will define the project success. The outcome is more important to the outcome end user, also to the outcome beneficiary, and any other stakeholder who may be affected by such an outcome. Whereas the project success is primarily important to the organization that is undertaking the project. However, also to any other stakeholder who may be affected by such a project, by its activities and its outcome. Project success is also important to the project manager's confidence and profile. The project scope statement, project acceptance criteria section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly stated as follows. The output of the custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project will be accepted when it is agreed by the client, Mr. Andre Lodewijk, that the deliverables meet his needs. That is, the project outcome will be accepted through deliverables signed off by the client. The project will also be considered a success if post-installation testing and the first 5 post-care inspections show the customer satisfaction. This will be signed off by the project steering committee in the project closeout report. Next is the outcome deliverables section, which is the product deliverables or service deliverables section. Product deliverable entails the expected outcome of the project and any other required or specified accompaniments. The attributes of the project outcome are listed or tabulated as the checklist for the project outcome end user or the project outcome beneficiary to accept or to reject the project outcome. The project scope statement, product deliverables section for our example project could be as illustrated. The product deliverable for this project will consist a designed, constructed, transported, installed, and properly functioning custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate at Mr. Andre Lodewijk's residence at number 16 Elite Crescent Prestige Estate, signed off by the client as per the sign of custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate project design in the annexure. Next is the project deliverables section. Project deliverables entail the manner in which each phase of the project is to be executed, and more importantly, the caliber of each project milestone to be reached at the completion of each project phase. The milestones of each project phase are listed or tabulated as the checklist for the project steering committee to accept or to reject them. That is, the project phase gate report and the demonstration or the evidence of work completed at the completion of each project phase gate constitute the project deliverables. Phase gate refers to a decision point or a major milestone or a major point at the end of each project phase known as a gate. Basically, it is a point where, on the basis of the ground covered and progress, an organization or the client makes a decision on the continuation or abandonment of a project. The project scope statement, project deliverable section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly stated as follows. The project deliverables for this project will consist of phase gate reports signed off by the project steering committee and the client at the end of each project phase. That is, at the completion of each project milestone in the following order. First, the design completion. Next, the purchases completion. Next, the building or construction completion. Next, the finishing completion. And lastly, the installation completion. Next is the project exclusions section. Project exclusions entail all other attributes or features of functionality of the project outcome that would ordinarily be part of the project outcome, but are not in the case of a particular project. These are stated clearly as one way of avoiding any scope creep during the project. Scope creep refers to any unauthorized changes or additions to the project scope, usually due to not properly defined or documented project scope or due to dysfunctional project governance and control in a project, or simply due to poor or unethical project management. According to the PMI's PMBOK, project scope creep refers to the uncontrolled expansion to project scope or product scope without adjustment to time, to cost and resources. The project scope statement, the project exclusions section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly stated as: the main project exclusion is gate automation for the custom 2 meter by 3 meter manual sliding steel gate. Next is the project constraints section. Project constraints entail all known limitations to the successful completion of the project and its outcome. There are 4 generic or already accepted project constraints in every project, and as a result, they are not stated as project constraints in the project scope statement, and these are scope, time, cost, and quality. Any other limitation, peculiar and specific to a particular project, should be stated in reasonable detail in the project scope statement. In a space project, the availability of astronauts could be a noted constraint. The project scope statement, project constraints section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly stated as follows. The main constraint of this project is that it has to be finished within the project schedule baseline critical path, as some project team members have already been allocated to other projects and other team members are leaving Steelworks Manufacturing employ at the end of this project. That is, any delay that will affect the project schedule baseline critical path will affect the project with regards to the resources, human resources availability. Next is the project assumptions section. Project assumptions are the project standard or normal conditions. Project assumptions entail all the factors that are assumed or taken for granted to be in place if the project and its outcome are to be successfully completed. If these assumed to be in place factors, for any reasons, may not be in place during the project undertaking, the project execution or outcome may be adversely affected. In a house building project, the availability of bricks in the retail sector and the availability of bricklayers in the job market is considered an assumption. Bricks are not a scarce commodity, and bricklayer is not a scarce skill. Actually, there's always an oversupply of bricklayers, and the house building project will not be disadvantaged or constrained by the availability or non-availability of bricklayers. The project scope statement, the project assumption section for our example project could be as illustrated and clearly stated as follows. The critical project assumption is that all the designated project team members will remain in the employ of the steelworks manufacturing and will report for duty as expected for the duration of the project. In conclusion, other aspects of a project cannot commence or even be considered prior to the finalization of the project scope. This includes all other subsidiary project management plans and the work breakdown structure. As all other subsidiary project management plans are first subservient to the project scope and then to their respective requirements. This is logical. The nature of the project aspects is informed by what the project should do and what the project should deliver. That is, the rest of the project aspects are of enablement importance, but not of direct material importance, particularly to the project outcome.